It's the morning of November 10th, and we slipped back into the small farm here on this stand we call the lane stand. It's setting up to be a beautiful day. It's about 17 degrees, cold, just a 10-mile-an-hour east wind, east-southeast, so it's blowing actually kind of the way most of the deer are headed. So most of the deer have been coming from the north, but this time of year anything can happen. There's a couple bucks on this farm we're after. I'd love to see one of those deer. So, usually these deer work out in the big clover field and then work their way back up these ridges. The does like to bed up here. In fact, last couple days ago we were in here and we had a doe bed right behind us. So, we just need the bucks to come looking for them. They will today, I got a feeling. I'm going to do a little grunting here and see if we can stir up some action. Straight down. Is he gone or is he still there? He ran and stopped. That's a big ape. He came right behind us, right down the edge of the ridge. I had a couple good lanes. Brody brought his bow today, so normally we'd be set up on the other side of this tree with the base. It was a little trick here. So, I had a couple of really good shots right in here, and every time I stopped him, the first time I stopped him, Brody wasn't on him. I'm like, get on the other side of the tree. I kept telling Brody to get the camera on the other side of the tree. So I'm like leaning around this giant oak tree, and he steps out, and I don't know, I felt like it was back a little bit, but he was like quartering away. I don't know, we're gonna have to look at the footage. It's the challenge of filming. He's a beautiful deer. I hope that shot's okay. Yep, that's him for sure. Yep. Well, we're approaching 8 o'clock here. We shot that buck at 7:30, and I think we're going to sit here for another hour. Brody's got a tag and his bow with him, so we'll see what happens. We're going to slip out of here at 9 o'clock, go back to the house and get some breakfast, and look at this footage and see where that arrow hit that buck, and then come up with a plan from there.
It's always a very stressful little time, not knowing exactly where you hit it. It all happens so fast. So, a little uneasiness in the stomach always, I guess.
There's so much motion blur when he takes off, like it's hard to tell, but I think I can see the entry hole as he runs away.
low or high or?
Low, but it looks like there's blood coming out already.
Yeah, it looked better than I kind of anticipated.
I actually stopped him 20 yards earlier. Brody wasn't on him. That big limb was in the way. I'm like, I thought he was gonna walk by and I get shot. I'm like, Brody, get on him now. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, this dude's gonna walk by me. Man, I think it's up. I don't know.
It's a little low.
There,
I can
there
see.
you can
Yeah,
see it.
that's what I can see.
That was
Good or bad? What do you mean?
low.
It's low.
It's weird. When I shot, I thought I hit him back, and it wasn't back at all. I mean, if it would have been up 6 inches, it would have been
Yeah.
3 inches for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it still might be okay, but I don't feel great about it. I mean, we could drive the truck in here and drop somebody off down here, and they can just walk up the fence line. If you get up here, like this is you cross the creek right here. You get up here, and you'd be able to see everything.
If he runs down through
Yeah,
there.
anywhere. If we push him through there, I mean, yeah, you can get up in there and you can see, believe me.
So you were here.
Yep, and he ran off this ledge down into this valley.
Yeah.
What is it? We're getting ready to head back in here and see if we can find blood. We know the arrow's laying right there. We looked at the footage, and it was definitely lower than I would like. So, mixed emotions about the whole deal. I guess we'll find out pretty quick if we've got a lot of blood. I mean, who knows? We could have got the heart, and he could be laying at the bottom of the hill, or it could be no go at all. So.
Got Brody ahead of us.
Yeah,
on
Brody.
the north end of
I
the
dropped
property.
Brody off on their side, the farm on the north end, where he can basically see. There's a creek there. He can see the bottom of the creek and all the way to the top of my fence line. So if we bump him out or something, he'll know. I told him to watch for blood walking on all those good trails that head into that CRP too. So fingers crossed. Hoping for the best, that's for sure. A real sick feeling in my stomach. That wasn't like that when we left. See what I mean? That wasn't like that when we went by.
Yeah, another one came through here.
Blood is
There's a lot of hair on the ground here too.
He's right there. Dude, yeah. Go anywhere. I was popping in the tree. It's exactly what happened when I shot Weed Eater with Drew. Holy smokes. Yeah.
Good job, Scott. Good job, man.
Oh my god. I saw that blood. I could see more spraying.
I heard you say, look at that. And then I was like, well, we got something good.
Brody, we got him, buddy. Yeah, he's right at the bottom of the hill. We came over the crest, he's laying there. Yeah, just what I said in the tree. Cool, come on over and meet us. Just follow that creek down, you'll hear us in here. All right, awesome. Good job, buddy.
No, I mean there's a lot of fat on there, like that. You know, when it goes low through the brisket, that can be.
I mean, it could have been where it exited too, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
He went 40 yards.
Yeah, baby.
Trees right there.
Drew, he did a Weed Eater. We just pulled over the hill on him, buddy. He did a Weed Eater. We just went over the hill on him. I was talking about him that, yeah, he's at the bottom of the hill, just like Weed Eater. You said it before when I talked to you. He's there. That's awesome. So yeah, I haven't put my hands on him. We're still at the top of the hill. We just saw him. Greg came over the hill and it was high fives, baby. We just walked in, so awesome. Okay. All right, we'll do. Bye. What do you say we go put our hands on him? Oh yeah. Go ahead and stay with him. Yep, that's cold. It was up pretty high actually. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Wow. Man, I'm always happy when these kids get to film a good kill. He did a nice job. It was a Brody up in the tree. Snuck in on us from behind. But what a magnificent deer, man.
We did it. Didn't take long at all. Good job, man. Look at him. Man, holy cow.
Yeah, we've had a couple close encounters.
Yeah.
Just out of range, a couple of deer we would have shot. And then it kind of slowed down the last couple of days. We went 3 sits, like half-day sits without seeing a buck.
Yep.
Today's the only deer we saw other than a doe when we hit the ground today.
Yep.
Crazy how it changes. What a morning, November 10th. This great big old wide 8-pointer comes cruising down the ridge behind us. These does will bed on these little ridges up where we were on the stand, and I'm sure that's what he was doing, either looking for does right on this ridge or watching with that east wind blowing all that scent up out of these valleys. I'm sure he was just, looking for the right doe to go chase, because he wasn't with a doe when he came through today. We call that the lane stand up there, and it's in a giant oak tree, and there's a lane that comes from almost the road, a little field up there, right down to the bottom of that finger. There's a spine that runs in a little ridge that runs in there and drops down into the creek bed. It's been a great stand over the years, especially during the rut, and you're really high. I mean, we had deer almost every time we've hunted this downwind of us, and just they don't get you. We were in the same stand. I mentioned it to Brody in the tree today. First buck I ever killed on film. Drew Yurkowski was out there with me, and it was almost the identical situation. I think I maybe shot him a little closer last time, but he was quartering away, walking. We weren't sure, and it was the same thing. We looked over the side of the hill, and he didn't make it to the bottom. He maybe went 50 yards. So right before Brody saw this deer sneaking behind us, I guess it was probably 10 minutes or so, we heard up towards the road this crazy grunt, like deep, guttural, weird, and I grunted a couple times after that. I don't know if that brought him in at all or had anything to do with it, but I'm sure that's what the noise was. I'm sure it was him. It was just a deep, old, crazy sounding grunt. It was hard to tell exactly where the shot was. When we got down out of the tree, we just slipped out. We didn't even go look for the arrow and nothing. We just moved out as quiet as we could. We were nervous because I actually thought the shot was back, but the height was good. But when we got back and looked at the footage, the shot was actually lower than I wanted, but not back. Right where you'd want it, like right behind the pocket there, right behind the shoulder. And that quartering through came out right underneath the shoulder on the other side. Must have got his heart. I mean, we'll find out here in a minute. But I was nervous. I know Greg was nervous. I always like Greg's advice. And I go, Greg, how are you feeling? And he said, So I was even more nervous. My buddy Greg wasn't in my court for me. But I was nervous myself. I mean, Greg's the one that peeked over the hill and said, look at that. And it was all high fives after that. It was awesome. This is actually a deer. When we walked up on it, and after we were done high-fiving, Greg said, this is a deer that I actually filmed this summer. So he filmed it basically across the road here on the neighbor's property, probably half mile, not too far away. So there's just so much luck involved being in the right place at the right time, but when it all comes together, it sure feels awesome.